Thanks for rejoining, guys. I had some technical difficulties. My modem decided to, you think, overheat? I don't know, I went to go reset it, and then all the lights were red, and then they all turned green again. It's been disconnecting a lot lately. I should probably call my cable provider and see if there's an update or something that we can do over the air. That was the issue last time. Welcome back from the ad break. Those always seem like the most inconvenient times. That Wizard Zagro was so damn good. We like did 20%. I know this is a Zelda OST, but I don't like how way slow this song is. I got nothing against piano, but man, this can put somebody on 3 Red Bulls asleep. thought this was a PSO track for a moment, but it's from Lunar. Just prepping to do the last B pull, which has the queen in it. But that'll take a couple minutes because we need to pull them down. We'll pull them, split them, and then we're going to kite the last one so that we can get our healers to met up. Be like maybe 10 minutes before we fight queen. You guys ever own hamsters? I know it's an odd question. No? My kid has a hamster. She's had it for maybe 5 or 6 months. Sweet little thing. We've owned rats and stuff. My wife used to breed rats. So we're not shy to rodents. And it's the sweetest little thing, but they bought it a wheel in a nice habitat. And at like 8 o'clock p.m. on the dot, this thing, we call it Brownie, she gets on that wheel, and I swear she must be like bodybuilder fit. Because she will roll on that thing for like 6 hours non-stop. She'll get off, take a drink, eat a seed, go to bed. Day in, day out, she is a creature of habit, literally. I'm just wondering if I should, like, put her in, like, a bodybuilding competition. You can't tell with the coat, but I'm sure she's swole as fuck underneath that fur. My wife said she's got a 2-pack, but I'm going for, like, more of a 4-pack here. She probably hits harder than a Twisted Tea. But you know what? The rhythmic sounds actually put my kid to sleep. The first night was really comical, because that thing got on the wheel, and my kid was like tossing and turning, and she's like, she looked at her, like, I heard her on the baby monitor, she woke up and she's like, Brownie, dude, I have really important stuff to do tomorrow. I need you to go to bed. And that thing was just rolling. Wasn't gonna stop her. And like my kid was like, ah, and just rolled over. But now, she goes up there and like 5 minutes of Brownie on her wheel puts her to sleep. I should make a mixtape of her and just sell it. Remember in the 90s when everything was like, every infomercial on TV past 3 a.m. was like monk chanting? I'm just gonna do that. Hamster wheel chanting. Like, she had hermit crabs when we lived in Florida. And all night long on the freaking baby monitor, I'd hear tonk, 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 as they just tap into the glass all night long. Yeah, they'd climb their little hemp rope all the way up, like 5 or 6 inches up, and then just tonk, 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 fall off and hit each other. Or hit the spare shells that we had in there for them. Man, so annoying. They were pretty chill, though, all things considered. Not like you can really... You could take out a hermit crab, but it's not. You're not going to pet it or nothing. You're going to be like, hey, hermit crab, look at you outside of your tank. I just vividly remember those infomercials coming on at like 3 a.m. through like 8 a.m. on the normal channels, and then cable too. G4 at like 4 a.m. after it would show like Starcade until like 4 or 5 a.m. and then it would be like Ron Popeil infomercials about like chicken rotisserie chicken turners or something like that. Oh yeah, Miss Chloe? Oh yeah, I remember her. It'd be like so silent in my room, and then all of a sudden, like, do the stars speak to your child? I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I'm like, oh, Miss Chloe. I should call you about my destiny. Oh, and then for a while there, do you remember that really stupid infomercial about like Foshigi? It was like this stupid plastic ball or like acrylic ball that you would put in your hands and you move it around like a magician. And it looked like magic, but it really was just finger movements. The ball had nothing to do with it. But I just remember the infomercial because it was like a 30-minute infomercial about this dumb hand toy. Yeah, it was like a juggling device, but it never left your hands. It just raced around on your fingers. Like Fushigi, they said it like every 8 seconds, just so you would remember it for the rest of your life. And then it was like the devil sticks. I remember those too, and they definitely had an infomercial for that, but it was less annoying. They just made it look so cool. I wanted a pair of devil sticks. I just didn't want to tell anybody about it because it felt lame. And then, of course, you know, like Sonic Adventure came out, and Soaps, the shoe brand, sponsored it. And I had to have a pair of Soaps. I was totally that guy who had a pair of Heelys and Soaps in high school. There was a lot of yo-yo commercials back then, too. I don't know if there was any infomercials, like long commercials, but I remember Duncan having, like, a second coming in that age. I definitely had a Duncan butterfly. 100%. I had a few Duncans. And yes, I could do a couple of tricks. Maybe like a dozen or so. But it was all because, you know, those Duncans, they were on like super good ball bearings. So they'd spin forever. Even an idiot could do those things. Still felt good walking that dog though. Or the cat's cradle. Around Shoot the Moon or whatever it was, Shoot the Moon. Around the World. These all just sound like sex acts now, but I assure you they were all yo-yo moves. No, officer, I wasn't asking that hooker for an around the world. I wanted to show her a yo-yo trick. In the late 90s, you could have pulled that off. I don't think it would fly nowadays. I have no DM from you. I bet you it's a picture of a yo-yo, though, when it comes through. I'm waiting. The fireball! Yeah, dude! The Omega Fireball. What brand is that? High performance yo-yo. Never has that been printed on a yo-yo ever. I love it. Yo Mega. I vaguely remember that. But I remember Fireball. I remember like their flagship yo-yo. We had to. The internet barely existed back then. We had to do every like sham freaking hobby that they put on TV for us. We all did that. We'd all get home from school, watch a little Cartoon Network, some Toonami. Then we'd, you know, put our Fireball yo-yo in our Jinko jeans. We'd go hang out and fight each other with sticks because, you know, the internet barely existed. Oh, I was actually pretty good at hacky sack, man. Yep. Hacky sack was the bomb, dude. It was easy for a fat dude. It was a good fat dude sport. You did not need to be that flexible to hacky sack. There's a game on the Nintendo. I think it's like California Games. Actually, you know what? I don't know if that's on Nintendo, but it was definitely on the Atari Lynx, and that's where I owned it. I think it was called California Games. One of the sports that you could choose was Olympic hacky sack. Well, okay, it was on Nintendo as well, right? You know, my favorite pseudo sports game besides like Skate or Die. Skate or Die 1 was ass. Skate or Die 2 was actually pretty decent. But TNC Surf Design. I had so much time alone with that game as a kid. And I know it's awful, right? But I loved that game. You could be like the Tiki Head man. Oh my god, or a gorilla, a surfing gorilla. Give me a break, dude. Late 80s, early 90s, there was nothing better. California Games was pretty good. Oh, Battletoads, man. That's a game that makes me feel old, not because of when it came out, but because as a kid, I was better at that game than I am now. Yeah, that's true. If you don't keep it up, you don't keep up them skills, then you can't keep them. I think like one of the first times I felt adolescent pride was clearing the speeder bike section on that game in front of my big brother, because he's like, "You can't beat it." It was his NES, his game. I was like, "I guarantee you I can beat it because I've been beating it like all week long." I'm getting to like what, stage 3 or 4 was after that. I never beat Battletoads, but beating that speeder bike stage was like enough for me to feel like I've beaten it. Because seriously, that took me a while to figure out. And then getting it was just, it made me feel so happy. It was like, that moment in the Ninja Turtles video game where you can actually clear the seaweed level. The seaweed sewers. I feel like that was easier than the speeder bike stage. But then again, turtles is about attrition. Getting there with 4 turtles means you were definitely going to clear that stage. If you screwed up too much prior to that, you could end it all there. There were so many games I could put endless hours into on the NES. Like, nowadays I don't think I could tolerate it because it was so repetitive. But I didn't know that back then. It was just mindless fun. How often, like, I could play, like, RC Pro-Am or Excite Bike for, like, I don't know, 10 hours straight as a kid. That course creator in Excite Bike, oh my god. We would trade that, like, I would take maybe an hour or two making a course, and then my older brother would try out the course, rate it, and then he'd make one, and then I'd try it out. Maybe it just felt like forever, because when you're kids, you know, you don't really have a good concept of time. I think you need a good mix of both, though. That's how I am. I always need like a good palate cleanser in between each RPG I play. I think it's really important, because if I go from one RPG into the next, I'm going to get so burnt so quick. How is this a Fallout track? I could have sworn it was a PSO track. I'm gonna have to scratch that PSO itch eventually. I've been looking into private server nonsense. There seems to be a very steady, strong PSO Blueburst server with like 8,000 people on it or something ridiculous. I wanted to do like PSU, Fantasy Star Universe, but their server has like 200 people on it. So that's gonna be dead no matter what time I play. But the wife and I just started our season of Discovery. We got back into WoW a little bit. She loves her World of Warcraft. I mean, I do too. We met there, so we love it. But we haven't played retail in years, and I'm not going to play retail. And she's already got people bugging her about, when are you and your husband going to come back and play retail? It's like, don't y'all know? I'm an EQer now. FF9 tunes. It's been raining so much in game lately. Oh yeah, how did that work out? Man, this track slays. So you're gonna tantalize us with telling us that you experienced Twitch's new smart detection versus bots, but not tell us exactly what happened? Okay, keep your secrets. Can't be too busy, you're just killing a hag in the basement of unrest. Welcome back from the ad break, guys. Finally, the last sister. Whoopsie doodle. I went up early, they're doing drakes. This will be a couple of boring minutes. Wow, 2 crowns of elemental mastery. That's nuts. That's so lucky. Such sleep-inducing music tonight. I'm tired, but not like tired. good jams. Oh, things are going good here. Did you get a level? Where'd you end off at? Man, you were almost ready to leave there. Yeah, if you don't get in the very back bottom room of the basement, like behind the false wall, then yeah, you should really have left by 32. You know, the last time I was in Unrest, nobody was even in that room. And I asked my group if they wanted to move down. They're like, no. I'm like, you don't want to kill a named every 8 minutes or whatever and get, you know, tons and tons of dwarven work boots? Nobody was having it. They'd rather kill more hags for some reason. Like that's fun or more efficient. It's not that big of a jump. You know, a hag is the placeholder for the guy who drops the dwarven work boots. So half the time you're just going to have another hag. You're in a room of 3 hags. There's 2 skeletons in the tunnel down to it. You have tentacle terrors that are pullable, but they don't pat into the room or anything like that. It's a really safe room once you break it. And if you've got an enchanter, you can break that room easy as hell. And my guild decided to, or the guild decided to kill dragons down there after I had moved up to Island 8. So I've been sitting up here for a cool 15 minutes or so. If I jump off, I lose all my buffs. I don't want to lose my buffs. I'm just sitting up here waiting for them. Yeah, 27 seems pretty low. I think most people can average like 40 or so an hour. Or, you know, whatever. But at least you found a group and you got something done. You could have just sat in the entrance all night. The Latin American voice actress for Marge Simpson passed away. That's sad. Only 60 I saw you looting like crazy. Every time I looked down at my phone, you were looting a hag. Was there somebody else there that was like greedy or something? I've never seen those tentacles drop a whip. I know they can, but out of all the hours I've been on Unrest, I've never seen a fucking tentacle drop a whip. And they don't hold other weapons. Mushrooms hold weapons, skeletons hold weapons, hags hold weapons. Not always, but they're the ones that do, generally. You'll almost always see a mushroom with a weapon. Skeletons are about 50-50. I'd say hags are too. Finally, we're gonna get to the eye now. We had 2 crowns of elemental mastery drop from the same Drake. It's pretty wild. I don't know how many of those we have banked. Nah, I don't think either of them went to use. They're going straight to the bank, I think. Happy future mages, maybe. All depends. They need to be used before August 1st, I think. Because July 1st we get Kunark, and then 1 month after July 1st, MQing goes away for Epic. I think all MQing goes away. I still need to verify that. But most 100% Epic, you cannot MQ the Epic anymore. But it might be all MQing altogether. That's a good feeling. I mean, it sucks for her, but it's a good feeling when you leave and people are like, "Ah, I miss that guy. I wish he was still here, killing shit." You got your abjuration to 55, or was it your abjuration specialization? I know abjure can be kind of pain in the ass to raise. Yeah, normal abjure. My abjuration skill on this tune is like dog shit, because I think I only have like 2 abjuration spells. $186? Yeah, it's my lowest like spell skill, I think. Conjuration is even higher. I don't even know what the hell I conjure. No, I guess my conjuration is lower. Yeah. Oh, that's my stinging swarm. I only have like 1 spell that can use that. I don't have a single spell skill that's 210 yet. That's my cap. It's either 210 or 215. I think it's 210. You gotta check the QUARM DB because the P99's off. Damn, gotta take another death touch. Suckage, I've already lost 4% of my level tonight. I guess it'll be 6%. Ooh, I hope my boys get a pearl tonight. Maybe the second one ever. It's not fair that I hold such power with this bow. There needs to be another. More bow shenanigans must take place. That was an abrupt start. Another pearl. I knew I felt it. Oh, I understand. I have to look through my spells. I actually look through spell lists on websites. I always ignore like the after 50 stuff, but it's hard to believe that in 2 weeks we have to at least pay attention to the after 50 stuff. But it's tough because at least with the P99 wiki, they include all the Velio spells, and I don't like that. On the QUARM DB, you can filter the expansion. These rangers are bidding off for that shimmering pearl, man. They should. It's the best bow. It's still best in slot throughout all of Kunark. Like I don't have to replace my bow for the next 13 months. Right now it's up to 150. I only paid 2 because I was the only ranger the night that it dropped, but I was willing to go like fucking full ham. Full Christmas ham on that thing. But they bid me up for the sword and the shoulders and everything else, so it was nice to get a win on that one. I'm just sitting around to see see who wins this thing. I don't have anything to do in game. I might hop over to Seasons of Discovery because I gotta catch up with Sam's character. She played like all last night while I was sleeping for work. And by all last night I mean like 4 hours because that's how long I sleep. So sorry, I was talking about my guild. We had a whole conversation about that bow. Yeah, so we switched to SOD. She switched last night, and the reason is I actually was the one who suggested it, even though I don't want to pay sub. I'm not confident Turtle WoW is going to be around for a long time, and I don't want to dump a ton of time into it because they have this shady ass donation system where you're just basically paying them euros for. They have their own cash out on a private server. You know, something that they're stealing. So I was like, they're making money. Blizzard's obviously not going to like that if they ever turn their eye to it. So we were having fun on it, but I was like, you know what? I feel like we're not going to be here for a long time. I don't want to put a lot of effort into this. So she asked me a bunch of questions. She's like, well, what do we do? You know, what kind of other options do we have? And I was like, well, classic servers exist, but they're really unpopulated because people move their characters to BC realms, to Wrath realms, and now to Kata realms. And there's no fresh new classic servers yet, aside from SOD. And I explained like what SOD was to her, to the best of my knowledge, because I didn't 100% understand it. So we did a bunch of research, I watched a bunch of videos, and I was like, yeah, I think I would play this. And she's like, okay, well, can we research server populations and stuff? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. So we did that. We found the most populated server. It's called Wild Growth. It's the US server. It's the most populated PvE US server. But the only issue was it's like 70% Alliance, 30% Horde. So we rolled Alliance. And she's loving it. And I guess right now I don't know how long it lasts or if it's just a permanent server rule because of the phase that they're in. But it's like 150% EXP boost all the time and 200% gold in instances groups. Or in instance groups, 100% more or 200% more gold drop. We haven't done any instances yet, obviously, but we just started leveling our tune. She has like a 15 or 16 hunter, and I have like 11 or 12 rogue that I was playing after work today, so I didn't get much time with it. But the fact that I was able to get it to like 11 in just like 2 or 3 hours, pretty good stuff. I was researching more of the runes and the off specs that, like the specs that are strange that went away in real WoW that are all returning in Seasons of Discovery. You've got Demonology Warlock tanks, Rogue tanks, Shaman tanks, Bear tanks that are actually good, Paladin tanks that are actually good. You have like a million different tanks. You have Mage Healer, all the original healers, True Discipline Priests. You have it's all because of the runes. And it's basically, you just get all these sick abilities from like retail WoW on a classic tune with classic gear. And the first couple of phases were really boring because all they did was add, like, they added pseudo raids, which were like 20-man raids, but of old instances, and the mechanics only changed slightly. But they just redid, what was the name of it? Sunken Temple. And they really did Sunken Temple, like, an actual raid. They added new bosses, they moved some of the trash bosses from the original Sunken Temple around, they redesigned a lot of the encounters, and that was fun. And now, you know, it's being data mined that they've updated the Hand of Ragnaros. Molten Core will have 3 different difficulties of 3 different sets of difficulties called Heat Intensity. Now, I looked at the DPS list. They're all very viable, except for Arcane Mage. Arcane and Frost are down, but every other DPS spec is crazy good. Enhancement is the second best DPS spec in the game right now. And Enhancement didn't really exist in Classic, so that's kind of awesome. It's dual wield Enhancement. All the rogue specs are just... Well, there's only like one rogue DPS spec. It's pretty cookie cutter, but it's phenomenal. And all you have to do is change a few things around and you can rogue tank with the same runes. Well, with different runes, but it's not much changing around. Because the gear is all the same. Yeah, I made sure to do a little bit of research on like what the end game actually is. If we'd want to even do that. I probably don't have time to raid in 2 different games. And if I do, it's going to be very light on SOD. But she's excited. You know, she's got a lot of friends on her BNet that were like, "Oh, you're back. That's so cool. Now come back to retail." And she's like, "No, we're not going to do that." Yeah, you can go to like Icy Veins or even Wowhead, and they have, you know, fresh parses. Fresh parses for all that stuff and tell you what's viable and what's not. And most of them are very, very close to each other. At least from what I wanted to play. I wanted to play a warrior. And Fury, there's a Fury DPS build right now. That's the very top DPS in the game. But I don't suspect that that'll last into Phase 5 or whatever, Phase 4, whenever that releases. Because right now the cap is level 50, and the Sunken Temple rate is like the tippity top. But the first phase of the next phase will be 60 cap, and then I think just Molten Core. So after that, you still have BWL, you still have AQ 20 and 40, and I'm sure they're going to modify those to make like AQ 20 and AQ 10 and make AQ 40 AQ 20 or something. And then they may add additional raids as well. You just don't know, because that's kind of how it is. But the rune system is really fun. They're all quests. They're all new quests. They added a new profession to SOD called Survival. It's all about like making little camps with little tents and stuff to give you rested XP away from the inns. And you have to go on this long, arduous journey to even discover the profession. And it's just it's like an investigation quest that takes you from one side of the world to the other. That sounds fun to me. Slow-paced WoW. It's Blizzard, so no one's going to take it away from me, even though it's a seasonal thing, so it will end eventually, and my character will get shit into somewhere. I'll have fun with it. I mean, they're doing a deal right now anyway. That's for $25 you get the stupid dragon expansion, but 2 months of time as well. So just save $5 on 2 months of time, and I get a stupid expansion and a boost for free. If anything, I'll try out SOD for 2 months. If I don't like it after that, I don't have to continue. But I also can afford 2 more tokens on live, because they're like 300, and I've got like almost 800k left over on my warrior. So I can go for 4 more months without paying another dime if I really want to. I don't know if I will. But I wanted like a classic experience again, just because I'm bored. And, you know, in 2 weeks, I probably won't have any time at all to play SOD. But I'm going to certainly try to squeeze it in so that I can play with Sam. But once Kunark releases, you know, I got to hit 60. I got to be there for my raid 4 nights of the week. I may not hit my alt right away, but that's something that I want to pick an alt and start working on it. Oh, I don't know where you left off at, but I was saying, you know, in 2 weeks I might not even have enough time for SOD because Kunark releases, and I have to hit 60 ASAP while still raiding 4 nights a week. Because we are not going to stop raiding. It's just whatever level you are, you're coming to the Kunark raids if you're, you know, above 50, or if you're 50 or above. I said I wanted to do an alt, but I don't know when I'll have time for it, and I don't even know if I want to settle on an alt yet. But Thatch is going to take 100% of my priority. But Sam understands that. It's just that, you know, we were having fun for the past couple days in the turtle thing. We wanted to make it, like, official so that nobody could take our characters away, so we tried that, and it was quite enjoyable. Yeah, I gotta get back on there, hopefully, before I go to bed, and I gotta go get my Mutilate rune. I gotta go do the quest for my Mutilate rune. Having Mutilate on a level 11 classic rogue just seems wrong. But I already have the Shadow Step rune, and that's a lot of fun too. I love that they're all quests, and they're all themed around your class. Yeah, I've just been... Well, I can blame not wanting to pick an alt just on the current date we're on right now. I'm really crippled until Kunark releases, and then once Kunark releases, I have to focus 100% on my Ranger. It's like, what am I supposed to do? Level my Necromancer, who's 42 right now? For what reason? If I'm going to dump it for a Lizard, I don't need it to be 50. The only thing I could really see myself leveling is my Druid, and I don't want to level that. It can already port. I don't think I'll have the new ports. I don't know what level those are. I think they're like 50 plus. But there's no way I'm leveling a tune that high so I can port to just, you know, the one place you can take a boat. Yeah. Ah, Marlborough, man. You gotta get those points. I want that sick Windbreaker. Ooh, the Shady Banker is a giant gnome right now. Be right back in about 30 seconds. I am back. I don't have my stream set up at all to stream a different game. so I'm not going to be streaming Zod. Thank you, thank you. What the hell am I going to do right now? I'm in no position to go find a group because I'm probably going to go to bed in like 45 minutes. Maybe I could just do ports on my druid or something. Take that back. I'm going to run to Fear and park myself for tomorrow's raid. Let me double check to make sure tomorrow's actually Fear. Oop, button miss up. Oh, it is Fear. Great. I'll go park my butt out there then. Thank you, EB. You so bored you're lurking? What does anybody do after raid anymore? With it being this close to Kunark. I can't settle on anything. I need to find a crew of people to do stuff with in Kunark. From what Severin was saying, he's like, he's gonna just level in the hole. So it's like, maybe I should do that in my off time when we're not raiding. But my hours are really weird. Like, I haven't been playing a lot outside of raiding in this game lately. And not that there's anything wrong with people hanging out with each other, but I'm not part of, like, any clique. And I highly regret that now. I mean, maybe clique is just the wrong word, but our guild, there's so many people that are friends, even just through the game, like not knowing each other in real life, and they hang out with each other all hours of the day and night. And I see them in chat all day long, and I just don't know how to approach joining them. It also doesn't help that I don't have alts like that are useful in that manner. At this point, most people are on their 4th or 5th alt, and I don't even have one at cap. Yeah, click is a bad word for that, because it's almost always seen as derogatory, and it's not. There's just lots of guild groups going at all hours, and I've never indulged, and I should have. I have a 52 Necro, but I dropped it because I want to play an Ixar. But now it's like, I don't even know if I'm going to have enough time to level the Ixar. Should I just cap the damn Dark Elf? Did I say 52? Yeah, I meant 42. I have alts ranging from, like, in every good level bracket. I could bring an alt anywhere, but I just don't have the time to do it. I want to do stuff like that. Like, I was leveling the mage with my wife, so she didn't want me to level it while she's not playing, but now the likelihood of her actually playing EQ is very slim. $34 Druid, 24 Bard, 12 Mage, 42 Necro. Yeah, Swirly. That could probably work for a couple of weeks. Then I would just be dragging like my PC to the local McDonald's to use their Wi-Fi, and telling people to get shit on because I just lost EXP because they sat down at my table and spilled coffee on my keyboard. It sounds like the dream come true. It's really the job. Honestly, it takes up a colossal amount of time. Only sleep like 4 hours a night, but I'm still working 60 hours a week for them. But, you know, adult. Oh, I appreciate that. It's been too long since I've couch surfed though. I think those days are beyond me. I'd say up until a couple of weeks ago. Nah, maybe like 2-3 months ago it was fine at work. Because that's before they changed my work duties, and I knew what I was doing because I had done it for a decade. So I could do that, and then put my mouse on a mouse mover, and still do triple the work of anybody else in the course of a 10-hour day. But now I have new responsibilities on top of my old responsibilities for no extra pay. Just the threat of losing my job if I don't do all the new shit. And the new shit is very complicated work. It took me 3 hours the other day to test one of those tickets. In the same token, I could have tested, 15 tickets. I'm a software quality analyst, aka a bug tester. for a software development firm. A monkey can do my job, and I wouldn't even have to train it. But they seem to think it's very technical. It's not. It is for like old retired wives that have to have jobs because their husbands are abusive. Or because they're just really bored at home because their kids have grown up. But for someone who has any technical background, even just the slightest, if you use a computer in an everyday capacity, you could easily do what I do. But now they want like several degrees and certifications, all to just surf through some web pages and try to break shit. Well, developers don't want you to break shit. The company does, but developers don't. Because then you gotta make them do extra work, and they hate that shit. Ah, so you hate me. We are mortal enemies, even though we should be good friends. Look, I get it. I don't even want to tell you when your shit breaks, because I know you're gonna get mad about it. But maybe if you unit tested in the first place. Or maybe that's an isolated problem at my firm because my developers don't unit test jack shit. And then I'm like, hey, did this break when you unit tested it? And they're like, no. I'm like, that's weird because in the notes, you didn't unit test it. So was that a no because you didn't test it? Or a no because you did test it and it did fail? I'm at that weird place in my position, EB, where certification should be worth 1,000% more than a degree, but it's reversed. It's like archaic here. And I honestly think that's just because of the old school mentality in senior management. Our directors are all in like their 60s. They just don't get it. They think schooling is, you know, worth so much more than actual certs that will put you in the place of, you know, the software. Oh, I wish you were all like that, Swirly. They will send shit straight to prod, break a bill, all so that they could just say that they, you know, so they don't have to admit that they were wrong. Should I farm a little bit of XP while I'm here? So I've been doing testing for about 10 years now. I've been praised for finding mistakes early on in my career. But at this point, if I find mistakes, I'm a very bad guy. I ruin everybody's day when I find, you know, bugs. And that bugs me because that's literally my job. Even the CEO, it's like, oh, why do we have a QA department? I'm like, oh, I don't know, maybe because you actually want to sell product. We're not a net positive for the company, so even the CEO hates us. I really should. It's just complacency, man. You know, I'm getting old. I like my job when nobody bothers me. My job would be perfect if it weren't for my coworkers and the people. A lot of that complacency is just, you know, I should really buckle down and learn SQL so that I could ace an application somewhere else. But I use SQL every day here, but it's just scripts that other people write. And our database is such horseshit junk spaghetti code that learning it as my first database would ruin me for every database I go to after that. And I know there's online courses for free. I can go watch an Indian dude on YouTube for 45 hours and learn something really significant. But it's like, oh, I'm so tired, I have kids, and I have all these excuses. Holy shit, this dude's kicking my ass. Well, we've had a big culture shift at that company. At one point in time, we were respected for the time we took to find stuff. But now we're being pushed more and more and more into... We're losing the quality in quality control, you know? It's all about speed now. They'd rather see me fail 10 tickets without properly testing them than take 5 hours on one and properly testing it. They're turning it into like a Warren Buffett churn and burn. That's what happened when I worked at Geico. Stopped really being about the quality and started being about the quantity. It is, but it's also a great excuse for me. And I think people, we use crutches like that. Oh, I have a wife and kids and I work too long. I want to have a hobby. You know, I could quit all this video games bullshit and buckle down and become a robot and better my life. But there's a lot of uncertainty with a statement like that and actually putting myself through it. I do not have enough mana for another one of these if I run into one. Ah, cool. I can sit at the book. Safe. I gained 0.5% from those two of them. Oh man, I wish I had options like that. My mother is not in a position where she can let me move in with her. It'd be the other way around. She would probably need financial aid from me. Same goes for my wife's parents. It was probably no picnic. Nobody wants to go home because you feel like you're defeated, but sometimes that boost can really do wonders, like you said. It was worth it. Paid off. But you didn't know if it would or not, right? That was probably pretty damn scary. I think that's like the theme song for our era, though, isn't it, Micro? Just perpetual panic. If you're not like from a well-off family or like a nepo baby, then every decision you make could be your last. And I know that sounds like hyperbole, like, oh, it's not that serious, but literally, when you're living under paycheck to paycheck, even buying yourself a video game could be make or break on what happens next month to you. Oh, don't get me started on the grocery store, dude. I'm like slowly climbing back into debt after trying to pay off so much of it, just because groceries are so goddamn expensive right now. And I have children to feed. And I don't get financial aid or anything like that. I make way too much to receive any type of state aid. And my wife is on, disability. And we can't be legally married because if we were, she wouldn't be able to get that because my income would supersede her own. And a lot of couples in America are in that position right now where they can't even get married if they wanted to. And it sucks, but at the same time we both understand, like, you're for me, I'm for you. We have rings, we've done our own little song and dance with it, and that's the best we can do for now. Maybe when we're very, very old we'll have an actual ceremony. But just because financially the country would rip us apart if we got married. She would literally die. Can't have that. Her medical bills are insane. I'm sure mine would be too, but I have insurance, but it's not worth using, so I just don't go to the doctor. How cool is that? Welcome to America. My health insurance is like, hey buddy, if you almost die, that's when we'll kick in. You pay us like $5,000 and then we'll cover everything else, alright pal? It's like, only $5,000? Yeah, I got that laying around. Spoiler alert, I do not. If it ever comes down to that, yeah, we'll invite all of our peeps. Tim Hoy invited us to her wedding, and she wants the girls to be flower girls. And it's like, man, I really want to make that work because New York's not too far from where I'm at now. So, it's like a day of driving. But financially, it's like, I can't go on vacation. I got vacation days for days, but I just end up selling them to my company. That's the state of like most American jobs right now. You get vacation days at a middle class job, but you can't afford to take them, so you end up selling them back to the company. And being happy about it? It's like, oh yeah, look at all this free money. It's not free money. It's free because it's going into my hand and I didn't have any, but I worked for those vacation hours. They are a benefit that they're required by law to give me. But we're mentally beat to think that they are a gift from the gods. Asshole stunned me. I'd love a doggo proc. Come on, Scimitar. I really should be in my Dex gear, though. Well, I thought there was a second one for a second. I was going to shit my pants. It's embarrassing that my 42 Necro can just wipe the absolute floor with these things. Kill 3 or 4 of them before needing to med. And I'm here, like, utterly crippled after 1 in best in slot on this Ranger. Literally cannot get better gear than I have right now. That's the nice thing about SK. Like, when most people generally will boil it down to, do I want to play a Pally, do I want to play a SK? That's the deciding factor for most. SKs can solo. Oh shit, on me, are you kidding me? Why was there a spec right there? Oh damn, dude. I have no mana for this dude. I'm gonna have to kite. I have to leave the zone. Of course he stunned me too. Jeez, I'm not gonna eat a death here. Give me a fucking break. That was the worst. How many more are in this cave, I bet? They can't kill me. Like, I'd have to stop and let them. But I certainly can't beat them. I can't bow kite because that guy's... What do you call it? What do they hit you with? The life tap. It's too much. They can do it too often. I'll probably only kite the 1. We'll see. Let me actually look. I'm stupid. He might leash too, since he's so far back in there. I want to see if I can bow kite him. Oh, I don't even see him and he hit me with his freaking lifetime. Boom. Ah, he's too far. He's too far and this stuff is not flat. Look, like a bunch of zombies following me too. Nope, I'll play it safe. I'm not going to eat an 11% EXP loss here. I do not like that new adjusted EXP loss as a ranger. My profession is dying. Went from 7 to 11. And I didn't even get a Slurpee. I was hoping that Secrets would adjust the EXP in raids, because it's only 10% of their original value. Like, maybe bump it up to 20% since you're going to give us more EXP loss on death. But nope. She said that the EXP was adjusted to in-era losses. You lost 11% total after reses, or did you not eat a res at some point? If you lost 11% after reses, you died about 6 times, I'm guessing, right? And you got 90% on each one of those? Because now on a 90, you lose about 2% overall at 50. That's what I was clocking in. Yeah, it gets rough, man. I was zoning out towards the end of after the raid ended when Meat was talking about what we're going to do for raids. Did he actually go over the new schedule that we're going to have? Because it sounded like he just wanted to squeeze everything into Wednesday, like all of the Kunark stuff. But then he said he wanted to have like one day for VP, I think he said. I don't know if he's going to push any of the planes off the table or something, so that we can still do Monday through Thursday. Honestly, we should remove Finny. Because everybody in their 17 alts have everything they need from Finny. Fear and Hate in one night would be good. But honestly, it's just, we're doing it for the god loot and hoping that it's good. You're clearing that entire place. No one's gonna want planar tier after we hit 60. I mean, who doesn't even have it all at this point, right? I'm just trying to figure out when I'm gonna squeeze in actually leveling. Because Monday through Friday is when I raid. And getting to 50 on this Ranger is generally, those were the days that I was playing at night. Because I wasn't raiding, so I was able to level. But Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is like wifey time. Well, yeah, the newbies, of course. I don't mind running it for them. It's just there have been nights where there's no net positive for us to going to any place. And that's just bad RNG, but, you know, it happens. I'm down for that. But he also said Yale, too. I know the hole will be quicker at 60. Giggity. But it still takes a while to get everybody everywhere. That's the problem, is when you have to do mass travel. But I guess we'll have OT hammers, right? So maybe we can travel on our own. I don't really know. I know what an OT hammer is, but I've never owned one. Because I've never played in Kunark. Just a short little quest or something that you can do. And we're going to do that like day 1 of Kunark, I think Meat said. And it's a hammer that anybody can use, and you swing it, and when it procs, you port to the over there. That's why it's OT, right? Yeah. And over there is central to Kunark, right? I think it's close to... Is it close to both zones for evil and good, or... It's just a good spot to go to? Because the good races, they go to Fiona V. Where do the bad races go? Or are both places in the same zone? See, that's what I don't understand. I should look that up. I'm such a Kunark noob. But that'll be nice as a ranger actually having a frickin' teleport to somewhere. Oh, so... Would I be able to use an OT hammer? I don't want to go and get slaughtered on teleport. Or is it like just outside the city or something? Okay, so it's in a fairly safe area. Okay. I was watching this guy on a progression server, and he's like, "Oh yeah, he was talking about the fire pots, and how if you just duel somebody, you just get instant teleported to the fire pots with all your gear." So that's why I was asking questions in guild. I was like, "Hey, can we do that here?" And someone's like, "You don't lose experience when you die in a duel, but you still have to go get your gear." I'm like, "Ah, bullshit! I thought I had an easy out." Ah, it's so dumb, dude. It's so hard to travel as a melee. I mean, at least bards can travel like, you know, the Flash. It still sucks, but they still can cover a zone in like 8 seconds. Ranger's like, oh, at least I got Sal. I'll see you guys whenever. I'm gonna go pay for a port. I think there's a Ranger chess piece in Kunark that has a port to somewhere. I think Fiona V. So I'd have to look it up. It's Tolvin's. It's a very popular set, from what I understand. I want those bracers real bad because they summon arrows. Oh, it's Ring of Fadark. Okay. I mean, it's still a teleport. Oh man, that's awful. I thought it was like to somewhere in Kunar. I mean, I guess if I'm in a real bind and I had that chess piece, I could go to Fadark, take the fire pots to Neriak, and then at least get to the tunnel. I'll figure it out. I'm still really excited about it though. Oh crap, I'm going into the zone. I don't want to go here. Alright, let's try that again. At least I know there's one at the end of the cave that I have to kill to get to my sitting spot for fear. You have to do them tonight? Is it because tomorrow's Tuesday? Got caught slacking. You still seem more prepared than most of your guild, though. Yeah, that's ridiculous for WoW. Yeah, that's the Zeal add-on that you can get. Do you play on QUARM, Swirly? Yeah, we had a lot of P99 converts. You can change the colors, actually. Yeah, they're all custom. You can change them if you want. And people are asking for crits and stuff. All I ask is that they make them bigger, because they're really tiny. I just want like a sliding scale. I want them at least 3 times bigger than that. But it is awesome to see if somebody's fighting behind a wall, because you can see the numbers popping up through the wall. It's pretty good proximity. It's really hard to gauge in this game, distance. But I want to say, like, 30 yards or so out, you can still see it. Or through, walls, if the walls are thin enough. But yeah, Zeal fixes so much of the stuff that was an issue on this server, because this runs off of the original EQ Mac client, just converted for Windows. It's funny that this game won't run on Mac. Straight up, you have to run like wine to emulate Windows to get it to work, which I think is sad, because this was originally an EQ Mac client. I don't know how much you know about QUARM, but it's been out since October. It's on a 9-month content cycle, so we're still in Classic for the next 2 weeks. Then we open up Kunark, and that's going to be our bread and butter for 9 months. But this server has a lot of custom changes. It is not a Classic experience. That, like P99 tries to be a Classic experience. It's not really the same here. I mean, it's the same. It's worse EXP values than like P99. So leveling can be a slog, but the repops here on the server they're anywhere between like 5 and 8 minutes. So the repops here are double. You can't dungeon crawl with the normal rates that they have on, but these zones are so populated that you can actually still do it. It's just difficult. But the big thing here on QUARM, one of the most contributing selling factors for most people, is the fact that our rating is instanced. So you don't need to poop sock a bat phone to actually kill raid targets if you want to. It's all about respecting your time on this server. The server owner Secrets, who has dabbled in server ownership before, she's really doubled down and made this a really cool place to be. There he is. Not only do we have instance rating, but you know, we're coming into the point where we are going to be able to get our epics, and she has reduced almost every single bottleneck there is to where the hardest pieces you'll need to do now are just killing the gods and stuff for their drops. And those drops have, in most cases, have been increased to 100%. Because if you look at most epics, it's about waiting in line. And even if it's for 8 days, that's not a challenge. And most of us are adults with children and stuff now. Welcome back from the ad break, guys. As I was saying earlier, you can actually... Some classes can actually complete their epics now. Paladin can complete their epic, and Rogue can complete their epics currently. I think we've done like 7 or 8 Rogue epics in our guild already, and then 1 Paladin epic. And hopefully, day 1, or at least within the first couple days of Kunark opening, we'll have several Cleric epics done. Oh yeah, no, I get that. I feel that. It eats up a lot of my... This is my hobby. I like to pretend that I play other games, but where do you find the time? You know, I say all that about not having time and doing all that, and then me and my wife just started playing WoW Seasons of Discovery today. I know we're very late to that game, but there's still probably quite a few phases left. So it's never too late to jump in and try. She tried to play EQ with me. It's very difficult for her. It's out of era for her. She never grew up playing it. And it's not like she's like an insanely younger number than I am. She's only 5 years younger than me. It's just that she grew up playing WoW. And WoW was like my young adulthood into adulthood. We met in WoW. And, you know, I played WoW for 17 years straight. And I've only just now taken a break since the end of... what was that one called? Shadow Realm or... Shadowlands. Yeah, that was the last one I took. Took a break at the second to last tier because we were having a baby and I couldn't run a guild with a newborn. So I was like, okay, we'll quit. It was a really great time to quit. I was so happy because I was getting so burnt out on it too. Raid leading, and well, it wasn't necessarily raid leading. I had somebody doing that for me, but still guild leading and doing that. It was only like 3 nights a week or something, but it still burnt me out really, really bad because of all the combined things of having to run the guild. And the content wasn't fun either. I hated that expansion. I was only doing it for my friends. And then it just turned out that a lot of them wanted to go and be part of a mythic guild, and I was like, this is great because, you know, we're pregnant, so go away. Everybody go have fun somewhere else. But the itch never goes away for WoW. And since it's my wife's drug of choice, she's been trying things out. And I actually tried Turtle WoW a couple days ago. I was like, it's free. I have nothing to lose. But it wasn't right. Nah, they did. They still do mythic raiding. Rob and a lot of those guys still do it. Darnock. I want to say at least 5 of those dudes out of like the 10 that wanted to go are still actively raiding mythic. They're not like a full clear mythic group, but they predominantly do mythic content, and they eventually get the tiers down, but they're not cutting edge or anything. Still though, they wanted to go do what they wanted to do. I was happy for him. Happy for Rob, because Rob was always a nice guy. But now he's trying to get my wife to go back to retail, and she's like, "There's no way." He's like, "You think we can get Grim to go?" And I was like, and she's like, "Not a chance in hell." She even told him, she's like, "He's playing that EQ bullshit, and he's not getting off that." Yeah, I don't know about Micro, but Rob and Darnock and a couple of the other guys, they all still actively raid Mythic. I know Micro was part of a 3-man group with a hunter who was really good. Best hunter I've ever played with. And then they had the rogue, whose name escapes me. He was good too, but he didn't, from my understanding, he didn't want to go into the Mythic stuff. He was willing to stay behind if I was going to do something, and I was like, I am not. Go with your friends. I was like, I have to go be a dad for the next couple of years before I could even do something like that ever again. And now I'm in a place where I'm not leading a guild, which is awesome. I'm just a raider. And we don't have attendance rules or anything like that, so I can come and go as I please, even though I love to keep my attendance high and my DKP high. Really works out nice. Well, unfortunately, I've run out of stuff to do, and I don't have time to do any more stuff. So I'll probably bring this stream to an end in a few moments. But as always, I just want to thank you guys for keeping me company, keeping me talking. If you like what you saw and you're not following me, please drop me a follow. I would really appreciate it. It's going to help me get to my next step as a streamer. I only stream this little game Monday through Thursday. Swirly, I appreciate the follow, man. Thank you so much. Catch me tomorrow for Fear from 9:30 p.m. Eastern to God knows when, like 1 a.m. Come keeping company. Gentlemen, it was a pleasure. You guys have a great rest of your night. Teleshack, I saw that. Thank you. Night, guys.